Hi everyone, Jonathan here from Unity Game Programming for Beginners, and in this final wrap-up video for the Block Breaker series, I'm going to show you how to add touch controls to your game so it will be playable on Android and iOS. Now, this final video does come quite a while after the other 7 have been created, and this is actually in response to a comment here on video number 7 asking for such a video. So this 7 video series is now going to be an 8 video series. So basically what we want to do is make it so it's comfortable to play on iPhone and iOS, because right now technically you can play it, but you'd have to keep your finger on the screen the whole time in order to move this paddle left and right, which just really isn't what we want. It's kind of uncomfortable. So what we want is so the paddle will move right when we hold our thumb or whatever down on the right side of the screen, and the paddle will move left if we hold it on the left side of the screen. So let's give this a go and see how we can do this. So number one, let's open up the paddle.cs script because we're going to be making some changes here. Right now, we're moving with the mouse only. And by the way, if you see any differences in this code between my other videos, that's because I'm recording this on a different computer, so I've re-downloaded the final project from Udemy, and I'm going in with a fresh start here. So none of the code I've shown you how to do in the previous videos is implemented, but that doesn't really matter because you're not going to need it. So first of all, we're just going to comment this out for now. And we're going to create a new method here, and we're going to call it move with touch. And my mono developer is doing some very weird indenting stuff, so it's going to be kind of annoying for me, but just ignore that. So I'm going to make void move with touch. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at seeing if our player is touching the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen. Now there's several ways we can do this, but in this case what we're going to do is we're going to write an if statement, stupid indenting, and we're going to say if input.mouse button, and not mouse button down because we actually want to hold the mouse button, get mouse button, and we're going to put in brackets here 0, which means the left mouse button. That's just what that 0 means. And now we're also going to say if input dot mouse position dot x, because we only care about the x coordinate, not the y. We don't care about up and down. We're going to say if it's greater than screen dot width, screen dot, spell it correctly, width divided by 2. So our screen dot width is the entire width of our screen, and if we say divided by 2, we're saying if it's greater than half our screen. And if it's greater than half our screen, that means it's going to be on the right side. So for now, I'm just going to test this, and I'm going to write debug.log touching right side of screen. And now we're going to do an else if statement here. And we're going to write else if. I'm just going to copy this all in. This indenting is driving me crazy. And I think it's because I upgraded this from Unity 4 to 5. I was playing around with it, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to do normal stuff. But we're just going to change this from a greater than to a less than and debug the other side of the screen. Okay, now let's go in here and test this out and see if the console is actually recognizing move with touch does not exist in the current context, probably because I spelled something wrong. Move with touch, void, mouse with touch. Yeah, void, move with touch. Okay. Save that, and let's test this out. So tapping the right side of the screen, and of course I'm still launching the balls, but it is a say in the console touching left side, touching right side, so it's recognizing that. So that's a great start. So let's go back into the code now. We don't need these debug.logs. We know that we're touching the correct side of the screen. But what we're going to do up here is we're going to go up to the very top, and we're going to declare a new float. And we're going to call this public float speed, and we're going to make this equal to about 20f for starters, because now we're going to be moving the paddle left and right, and we're going to need a variable to control that. So we're going to call that speed. Now, under here in our if statements, we know, I'm going to show you a quick way to control with the direction you're moving the paddle. And you're going to learn actually a bit more about this in the Laser Defender module, so I'm not going to go into too much detail how this works because you'll get that understanding. I'm just going to kind of show it to you for now. So we're going to write transform.position, which is talking about the paddle's transform.position. And we're going to say plus equals vector3 dot right. So this is built into Unity. It's a simple way of making an object move left or right. We're going to multiply that by the speed, and now we're going to multiply that one more time by something called time dot delta time. And again, you're going to get an explanation of this in Laser Defender, but Cole's Notes version, it has to do with controlling the frame rate in different speeds of computers. And if you don't do this time.delta time and you try to run your game, things will just look a little bit wonky. Try it out, try it without it, just to see kind of what the difference is. But then if you want things to work normally, you need to have this time.delta time. And then we're going to just copy this line of code in here. And instead of saying vector3.right, we're going to say vector3.left. Properly indent this so I don't drive myself crazy. Save it. And now let's go try to run this one more time. So great. Moving left, moving right. Of course, our paddle is no longer clamping. So that's okay. What we can do is go back into the code here, and we can copy some code from this move with mouse. What we're going to need is we're going to need this line. And what we're going to do, we're going to be clamping it after the if statement no matter what. So we're just going to copy these 3 lines. We don't need the mouse position and blocks line. Paddle position.x. And instead of saying mouse position and blocks, what we're going to just say is transform.position.x. And now, if we hit Control S and save it one more time, go back here. There we go. It's properly clamping and it's moving left and right. And that's just going to be a lot easier to control on an iPhone or an iOS device. Of course, we have another problem. If we're playing on the Unity editor, we don't want to be controlling it like this. We actually want to be controlling it with the moving with mouse, or we want to be doing that if we're uploading it to the web. So we need 2 different control schemes. Yeah, schemes. So I'm going to uncomment this, and we're going to wrap this around some if statements. So we have this choice now. We can either move with a mouse or we can move with touch. So what we can do is there's actually a way of indenting. There's a way of controlling this here, and we can say if application dot platform is equal to runtime platform dot, and now we have a choice of what system we're running this on. So right now I'm under the move with mouse, so basically I'm using a Windows PC, so I want to say Windows Editor, or if application dot platform is equal to runtime platform dot Windows player. So basically if I'm using this on a PC. Now, if you might be using this on a Mac, so I'll show you what the equivalent is for that in a second. Oh my god. It's driving me nuts. Now, if I was doing this on a Mac instead of PC, I could say if application.platform is equal to runtime platform.osx editor, player, and dashboard player. So you could basically incorporate those 3 things for Mac instead, and you'll get the same results. In this case, though, we are now going to be doing the move with touch controls. So what we are going to do is say if application.platform is equal to runtime platform.android, or application.platform is equal to runtime platform.iPhone player. So if we're running this on an Android device or an iPhone player, we're going to move with the touch controls instead. You can just hear this driving me nuts, can't you? Okay, so yes, that is contained properly there. Save this one more time. And now we should be back to moving with the mouse on here. And we are. We can see it's moving with the mouse. But now we, of course, need a way to test this out on an Android device. So what I'm going to do is go to File, Build Settings, and I'm going to change this over to Android. I'm going to switch platform. And I'm going to actually build this out as a .apk, and we're going to try running it on an emulator. So it does say we're on Android right now. I'm going to go to my player settings. I forget what I have to change in here. Bundle identifier com.wc games block breaker. Is that all I have to change? I have to change some other stuff too. Okay, I'm just going to pause the video while I build the APK, because this is not part of this video and I want to make this shorter. Okay, so I've built out my .apk file, and I'm going to try double-clicking this now and running it in a program called Nox, which is a great Android emulator. So if you do need an emulator to run test games on, and you don't want to actually keep building and putting things on your phone, you can just download this Nox app. It's free, and then you can try playing it on there. So it's really, really cool. And it will recognize this as an Android control player, so it won't think I'm on a PC now. It's going to think I'm actually on Android, and it's going to let me try to play this. Okay, where are you, Blockbreaker? There. Okay, there we go. It's starting. So there we go. I'm touching the left and right side of the screen here, and we can see it is working. So this would work on an actual Android device as well. Resolution and screen resolution and all those things, that's a different story, but that's not what this is about. This is just about implementing touchscreen controls. So we know that's working. That's pretty cool. Okay, basically that's all there is to this now. There's other ways of implementing these same types of controls. Another way you could do this is just by going to Game Object UI and creating a button, and then actually making the button the size of half the screen instead. So what you would do is you would just kind of resize it, and instead of doing this through code, you could make one button here, get rid of all the coloring and the text on here, and then make another button for the other side of the screen. And then you could make different functions. So if you're touching the left button, you would move the paddle left, and if you're touching the right button, you would move the paddle right. I don't like doing it that way. I think this way is a little bit cleaner here. Obviously, you can see it worked quite well, and we don't have overlapping buttons touching our whole screen. So that is how you can quickly implement Android and iOS controls for a game like Blockbreaker. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please enjoy. I have another series like this called Advanced Laser Defender. So after you complete the Laser Defender in Udemy, you can come back and get some advanced tutorials here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. See you in the next one.